So Deepika, Preetham was highlighting about some messages which everyone get during a weekend, but there is one message I think so everyone must have got in this panel is you have won $1 million via lottery, and please contact me if you want to claim it, give me your bank account details. So what is your view on this message? First, how to report it? Then third, what is your advice for our viewers?
So in terms of reporting, these type of messages are only going to keep on growing and only going to keep on being fine-tuned in order to be as real as possible. These messages are always appended with certain links, which were earlier only web-based links. Now they have become app-based links also, where it is very difficult to distinguish which is the real app, which is the fake one. And that is the kind of input that they have, gotten because of the kind of data that they have acquired from sending these en masse messages. Now, whenever we come to a reporting mechanism, there are a couple of helplines that the government has certainly launched. That's coming directly from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Fantastic.
First is a Twitter handle known as @cybersecurity, which keeps on publishing the current modi operandi of different types of websites, and that can be reached on Twitter. The second is a number known as 1930, which was just recently launched by the government in conjunction with the RBI as well, because most of these frauds are financial in nature. And third is a website known as cybercrime.gov.in. Of course, every state also has their own mechanism in terms of reporting local crimes, but the central repository on cybercrime.gov.in ensures that the current police station you want to target or the kind of law enforcement agency you want to target comes to the same. So what my advice to the viewer would be that to clearly mention whatever has happened without any fear, so that the authorities can understand how to investigate.
So you must have also got the same message.
Just to add, what Deepika said, one line from my side, that the advisor to viewers is very simple. There is no free lunch. There is nothing coming free to you. Don't get into that trap.
All right.
Yeah, I want to go to the fundamentals, right? So why these messages are coming and why somebody is allowed to send those messages, right? Why can't we restrict the source itself? That's one of the use case which telecoms has really implemented. I think any of those messages which are coming to the countrymen, or it's always filtered out a blockchain network out there. Now going forward, even if we are bringing a lot of regulations, lot of technologies to safeguard what we are doing, it's a part of a Web 2, right? So what we have built it on mobile apps or on websites or on those traditional database or traditional web servers out there, right? With the blockchain coming in to picture, we are going ahead with the Web 3, and there are many other technologies will come into our life. So regulations or controls which are, or awareness guidelines today we are defined, it's all about what we have seen in the larger scale on the web technology and mobile technology. Now with the blockchain and AI and other technologies coming together, our regulations will go down. Rather, it will enhance the moreover complete security of the ecosystem.
Perfect.
So I think that's how more of awareness kind of a work that will be at control at a network level or a blockchain level itself, and the challenge will be different while we enter into 5G or a different era, right?
Fantastic.
So that's what I always say is if some technology comes, there is another technology comes to safeguard that technology, and that's the cycle continues.
So as we are in the process of entering the 5G space, my next question to Bharat sir is, what are your thoughts on the Web 3.0 and the Metaverse, in terms of security, and how do you think blockchain will gain momentum? And then we will throw this question to Preetham as well.
So, as I take you from what Prasanna said, that if one technology is there, the second will come and safeguard that. I think that is what exactly will happen when we'll have Web 3 and Metaverse, or, in the 5G. However, the word of caution here is that when we were having 2G or 3G before that, we were having very comfortable life, because it was very limited to our own small world. Your bank, your customer, your ATM, your CBS, nowhere exposed. Now with this integrated world and the speed of data, and with million of new virus and trojan coming every day, now we are moving to 5G. That will open Pandora's box as far as black hat people are concerned, because
Right.
for them it is you are building a digital highway on which you will drive as a white hat, and at the same time black hat also will drive. How are you going to control them? Because the speed is one part, but the challenge is what it will emanate out of all this new innovation. Also to be think through much before ahead of time. Blockchain will definitely help, provided it has been understood by people. Because as I take what Deepika said, that the moment you ask somebody blockchain, oh my God, it's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all this, is a myth. How are we going to break that myth among the policymakers?
Sure.
That is the fundamental issue, right? And third is about the Web3. Yes, I'm very, very bullish about Web3, provided it has been integrated in our day-to-day life, because that is what is going to make much difference on individual's life post its implementation.
Perfect. Pritam, your quick take on that.
Okay, so like how the Web3 and Metaverse things are going, right? So first of all, like Web3, we can say it is a third iteration of the internet, right? So in Web1, we were in like from 1990s to 2004, Web2 like 2004 to till now, and like now like Web3 is coming up, right? So it is third iteration of how the Web3 is going to define, right? So Web3 is going to be going to build on more open source technology and utilizing the blockchain, more trustless and more permission data, right? So what are the cybersecurity risks involved in the Web3, right? So in the Web3, in code is the money, right? In the code is the money, and in the code there are so many hacks are involved, right? And there is currently no regulation. There is no laws. Like if there is any a bug in code or anything, you cannot file a case against any person, right? So there are very interesting cyber threats in Web 3.0, and this coming to Web 3 space, it is going to be a mix of AR, VR, machine learning, and blockchain, DeFi, and NFT. So these things are going to make a very interactive and open source technology space.
How can we prevent cyber fraudsters from acquiring private keys or gaining authorized access to users' MetaMask and for the matter any other wallet? If you can just highlight that aspect as well.
So right now, in terms of the infrastructure of various types of wallets, we are seeing two types. One is the hardware, and second is the kind of cloud wallets that are there. In terms of data access, usually the social engineering element works very well here. And second, in terms of the storylining that these people usually use, this is a use case that we need to really adopt and kind of publicize as well, that these are the kind of ways your authorizations as well as your private and public keys can be at risk. So this is something that we need to focus on first. That is taking care of dynamic OTPs or maybe dynamic authorization concepts, so that nothing remains static and shareable as well. And second, keep your profiles as private as possible. Maybe also introduce a little bit of an air gap between two profiles, whichever has your funds or your savings on a little more private mode, and the public mode, which is more on a transactional level. And a second point, which I want to add regarding the attacks on the Web 3.0. Web 3.0 has been publicized to see that there can be no one single master, because there's no one single or centralized database. It is completely decentralized. However, we are missing something known as a 51% attack. Right now, in a decentralized system, if one body impersonates and gets more than 51% of the kind of nodes that are available on a particular network, it is as good as gaining a centralized access. So I think we should definitely see all these concepts at the conceptualization, at the implementation level, as Peter mentioned. Try out all the stress cases so that nothing would be untoward whenever the actual implementation takes. Thank you.
So very quickly, if you want to add anything on this.
Yeah, I think this 51% attack is a phenomenal thing. Typically, the way we define the blockchains, there are various consensus mechanism, proof of work, proof of stake, and there are many more innovations or acceleration as far as the technology maturity is concerned in last 3-4 years. While the challenge is there, I think technology always surpasses these kind of challenges. A 15% attack, it is always there an opportunity for hack. But I think having those upgraded high-end network capacities, right? Although quantum computing is coming to our life, but while we reach at a quantum computing, these
okay.
consensus and these algorithms will get more and more
Perfect.
mature. That's how I look at this whole ecosystem. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Preetham, my next question to you is very quickly, if you can just highlight or educate our viewers about how can we protect against cyber impersonation of the original website. Say for example, if attackers have obtained identical domain names and defrauded users. Very quickly, if you can just highlight that, how one can avoid this.
How one can avoid, like, just assume you are using Binance or like Wajirex, right? So now, like, how these exchanges are helping, like whenever you are visiting on any website, so they are clearly showing you like this is our address. So making sure that in browser you are logging through this address, right? This is the first step. The second step is like whenever you are doing any transactions in like any exchanges or anything. So you should be following all kind of security factors. It can be 2FA, you're getting notifications on mail, OTP, and everything, right? And whenever there are multiple ways. Also in the mail, I think there is very interesting thing nowadays coming. Whenever there is any mail is coming, either you can report it or report it to the exchange. I'm getting this kind of mails and everything. Like yesterday, I got one mail from Binance. Like the address was Binance. It's something that when I opened this,
Sure.
user was different, right? So we should be checking everything, which websites we are visiting, from which address the mail is coming, and everything.
So one last question, your closing remarks, Deepika, it's what influence will data protection laws have on persons' data in the near future going forward? If you can just give your closing remarks, Deepika.
Oh, certainly. Data privacy and data protection laws right now in India is the current requirement and the necessity. Because what has happened, there are a lack of regulation in terms of intermediary liabilities that is now still not in place. In terms of also the foreign companies that have come here, set up bases, but not really sharing the data. I'll give you a small law enforcement perspective. If any defamation happens on Twitter or Facebook, they take minimum 14 to 30 days to even get back to the law enforcement.
Okay.
Imagine the plight of the victim who is suffering through that 1 month period. So this is something that we really need to enforce at all levels in terms of data privacy protection, as well as holding the intermediaries accountable. Once those are held accountable, it'll be very easy to share data and keep our data to ourselves. Thank you.
Sure. Bharat sir, your closing remarks, do you think there will be more frauds in the near future? You highlighted about the 5G and the IoT of the things as well?
Indeed, there'll be multifold increase in the cyber fraud, because earlier we used to go from home to office. Now office is at home. Your education is at home. That thanks to pandemic. But along with that, the way we have adopted the technology in our life, it is at the point of no return, and therefore we are exposing everything on internet, on cyberspace.
Sure.
And with the increased speed of 5G, IoT, Metaverse, and all this, that is going to add the fuel. Only thing which is going to help us that how fast we can detect any possible cyber attack, and the moment you identify that attack or detect that, how fast you can respond to contain that damage for them. I think that's the only key. Otherwise, we'll be always exposed to the cybersecurity challenge. And in our life, we need roti, kapda, makan as a basic necessity. I would add fourth, cybersecurity is also the basic necessity going forward.
Fantastic. That's actually the basic necessity is roti, kapda, and makan, and the fourth one is cybersecurity. That's a strong word, which is statement which is coming from Bharat Panchal, who has worked in this UPI industry and been working with the banking space for over a decade. Preetham, what's your closing remark on this?
So my closing remark, like for the Web3 cybersecurity spaces, like hacks are going to be happen, right? So whenever you want to safeguard any product, you should be working with any cybersecurity experts, should be doing smart contract auditing, should be going through, blockchain kind of insurance things, should be monitoring all the transactions. Like as Bharat said, we should be monitoring all the kind of transactions. So we should take the actions for like what happened in my smart contracts. I can stop it, or I can stop my smart contract functions.
Prasanna, your closing remarks.
Yeah, I think a wonderful discussion today among all the experts, Deepika, Pritam, and Bharat sir out here. In my view, I think we are at mid that while we are as a part of a Web 2.0, we are entering Web 3.0 in the next coming few years. It makes sense that restudy our processes, our infrastructures. Is there any room to really revamp those compliances and all those process documents, adopt new technologies like AI and blockchain coming together, which will safeguard our journey here onwards. I think digital identity will make a very important aspect with a consent mechanism where every individual will be owner of their own data, right? I think what is happening outside of the world with the GDPRs and many global data protection regulations are coming. I think India should also come up immediately and safeguard us or our citizens against those Googles or Apples. I think there are a lot of regulations these guys are also adopting, and one of the examples is third-party cookies, right? They are going to stop, but at the same time they will come up with another mechanism to have a trail of their customers. So I think having a blockchain-based foundation technology will really safeguard networks, because today we operate in a network era, right? UPI is one example, Aadhaar is another example. There are many marketplaces where our citizens, our customers are asking for those health services or banking services. So how do we safeguard this complete sharing economy is very, very important. I think blockchain is one of those foundation technology, and says that after 10 years we will not talk about me, but what is that you will talk about how we have safeguarded this whole ecosystem. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's a very strong word, coming in from Prasanna Lohar, that how we will save our ecosystem. That's the point. Thank you so much, Bharat sir, for being a part of this panel discussion. And you spoke really well about, there are more frauds in this future with this, with the technology as it is going from 4G to 5G, and there are future prospects that, that frauds might increase. Pritam, you gave a very nice perspective about, how this whole ecosystem is evolving as far as blockchain technology is concerned. Deepika, you gave a fantastic view as far as state government's approach towards this cybersecurity is concerned. And as usual, Prasanna Lohar, thank you so much for giving us and enlightening our viewers about how important cybersecurity is. Thank you everyone for being part of this panel discussion. This is Manoj Dara signing off from Crypto TV office. Thank you so much.